purpose of this environmental impact statement is to evaluate the overall impact of using 3 new herbicides to treat vegetation on public land managed by the Bureau of Land Management. This division of the House of Interior is responsible for governing over 247.3 million uncultivated acres of land in the United States. To control certain species of weed that could possibly choke valuable Earth's ecosystem supporting vegetation, the aminoprialide, fluroxypyr, and rimsulfuron are recommended agents. They've proved to be successful in controlling overgrowth of threatening wild plants. If these chemicals are selected, 932 acres of land will be treated annually. However, to move forward in utilizing the aforementioned, risk must be assessed, plans evaluated, and actions monitored to ensure safety for environment and inhabitants. Along with aminoprialide being a substance that eradicates broadleaf weeds, it is a pesticide as well. Therefore, the use has added value because of multi-purpose attributes. Its chemical structure and physical properties make an effective treatment to combat reinfestation of weeds. Fluroxypyr is formulated to control woody brush. Conversely, its use is very important in the prevention of wildfires and cost effectiveness in providing wildlife habitat. By reducing competition around mass producing trees and removing low quality species, brush management increases mass production, it improves understory habitat, and improves native species diversity. Rimsulfuron is a chemical agent that inhibits germination. Its active ingredients remain in the soil during the fall to early spring, thus allowing the soil's ability to regenerate itself for new plantings and growth. Now, it has been reported that it can be toxic to aquatic life during long-term leaching. And additionally, the long-term effects are unknown. Acute toxicity data indicates that aminoprialide has low toxicity via oral, dermal, and inhalation routes of exposure. Aminoprialide has been classified as not likely to be carcinogenic to humans. No increases in any tumors were found in studies in rats and mouse. The risk assessment and applications will vary from different treatment sites. However, data from the United States Department of Agriculture asserts that there are risks stemming from application exposure as well as proximity to application sites, and potential hazards are inhalation, eye irritation, drain off that can be entered by farmlands and entered through food change. Conversely, as of 2016, there's not much reported on the health impact of fluroxypyr. The toxicity report is based upon reports from the United States Protection Agency. The features of this substance can be absorbed and excreted quickly out of the body. Therefore, kidney damage can occur, but only in extreme circumstances. The EPA determined that the dermal absorption is not a significant pathway for fluroxypyr, and therefore it does not consider dermal routes of exposure in humans' health risks. Now, for recommendations, workers who treat land on a daily basis pose the greater risk to toxicity. Therefore, to eliminate these exposures, appropriate training will be executed utilizing following guidelines of the Occupational Safety and Health Standards 1910.1450, and these instructions address appropriate hygiene and handling of toxic and hazardous substances. Additional mandates will include utilization of appropriate PPE to avoid possible long-term exposure of eyes and skin. And here's a list of other recommendations, such as to mitigate drain off of farmland, wetlands, and in other areas will be spot treated around those areas, and testing of farmlands that are close to treated areas to ensure vegetations that are not affected. Use less concentrated mixtures near close to human and animal population. Post signs in all areas that are being treated with herbicides to limit human exposure, and provide public notices in newspapers. Establish a buffer between treatment areas and human residences based on guidelines given in the HHRA, with a minimum buffer of 1/4 mile for aerial applications. Secure areas where herbicides are contained, and properly dispose of herbicides according to EPA guidelines. Lastly, when monitoring the use of aminopyralid, fluroxypyr, and rimsulfuron are deemed relatively safe as herbicides agents. However, they do have a minimal impact on humans and the environment if used properly. Because of these factors, they are welcome. They are a welcome addition in treating noxious weeds and invading plants. However, there is limited research on long-term results due to the novelty of the products. Continued testings of soil, water, and wildlife will be implemented to determine possible long-term toxicity. Therefore, the cumulative impact may go beyond the project. Field tests are one of the many ways to monitor herbicide treatments, so this will ensure efficacy and determine if non-targeted organisms are not effective. Biannual examination of workers will be performed to determine if health has been compromised due to exposure. And lastly, testing of air quality and monitoring endangered species are part of the action plan to protect the ecology of the land and well-being of nearby populations.